Okay, obviously had a great win on last Wednesday versus Louisville, and the good thing with having a bye that weekend is you could enjoy it on Thursday. If you played on Saturday, you'd have the second you walked in the office Thursday morning, you have to get right back to focusing on the next opponent. So it gave us one day to enjoy the win, and then Friday morning you're right back at it and focusing on Wake Forest. And obviously I think Wake Forest is really good. I think Danny Manning, the job that he's doing and the job that he's done, and he's kind of like us, got bit with the guy leaving early and John Collins, that probably wasn't expected, but kind of like us with the Kogi. So but Coach Manning runs really good stuff. They've had a lot of games where they probably should have won, similar to us. They've had some really close games, and I just think they're really good. They're really talented. They've got multiple guys that can put the ball in the basket, and we're gonna have to play our A game if we want to have a chance to have any success. There's no question about that. So we'll have to be really good. I know they're honoring that 94-95 Wake Forest ACC championship team that day as well too, tomorrow. So that will have extra energy in the building for that. So we'll have to be really good.
When you come off a win like you had last Wednesday, would you rather play right away, or would you rather?
No, well, I mean, that was only my second bye week I've ever taken in the history as a coach, even dating, even pretty much as an assistant. So the first bye week I ever took was last year, but that bye week was at the very last game of the season that we had that open weekend. So there was no thing, and then this was the first one. But it worked out because we won, and like I said, you could have one day to enjoy it. But I would always like playing just 2 games every week. I say more games. And too bad, instead of playing 31 regular season games they allow you, I like to have about 41. But it is what it is. It allowed us to get a little rest, but also clean up some things that we need to clean up, and we'll have to get back at it. And like I said, I think Wake Forest is really good. They run a lot of different actions that's hard to guard. They've got some really good players, guys that can fill it up. Childress can fill it up. White, the kid White, number 13, can fill it up. Sarr's obviously really good. Shondae Brown, he's a high-level guy. They can shoot it. They're really good. They get to the free throw line. We're going to have to play really well if we want to have a chance to win the game.
What are some of those things you felt like you needed to clean up since Wednesday? Some of the focus.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the number one is turnovers. And that's the first and foremost thing. And it showed that on Wednesday it was kind of a mucky game. It's a little bit ugly. We did have 18 turnovers, but we found a way to win through defense. And we've been, for the most part, we've been pretty good defensively this year, and for the most part, for the 4 years, it's been our one constant has been our defense. Offensively, we've been better since Christmas, so we just needed to keep building on that. But you can't build on that if you're throwing the ball away. And the biggest thing is we just can't have those. There's 3 things we've got to be really good at. We've got to be really good with our offensive rebounding, which is very important to me. We've got to be really good at ball security, and we've got to be really good defensively and trying to get 7, I call them kills, or 7 free stops in a row throughout the course of the game. And those are things that are controllables that we can control. And if you do those things at a high level, it gives you your best opportunity to put yourself in a position to be successful. But the number one thing is obviously just you got to take care of the basketball. We can't. We're fortunate to win the game on Wednesday, still having 18 turnovers. We've got to be better in that area.
Coach, it's kind of a big picture college basketball question, but I guess casual fan might look at the rankings and say, Dayton, San Diego State. What does it say about this wealth of talent across the country and the way that things are spread out now as far as players?
Yeah, no, and I've always said it, Randy, I've said it for a long time now, that you don't need to go to any certain school to go to the NBA. Everyone's on television, and anyone can win the national championship. And So the talent is so spread out, and because no one wants to go anymore to a school where they have to sit. Everyone wants to play. Everything's about playing time right away, and so it's the reality of it is, and if they don't play, a lot of them just end up transferring based on you see the numbers in the transfer portal. So around the country. So as long as they keep the limit at 13 scholarships, it's going to continue to see that where the talent is just continue to be spread out. And because guys are going to schools now, they want to go places where they can play right away. And that changes the dynamics of everything. And everyone's on television. Now, I will say, I'm only speaking on our conference, the ACC. The one thing about this league is you just beat each other up. Where maybe some other leagues aren't like that. Where this league, you can maybe, some of the leagues maybe can circle a win here, circle a win there. But in this league, it's just, and I've said it, you can play well and still lose. And I don't know how many leagues are like that. And this has just been one of those, it's just the ACC is the best. It's hard, but it makes it great because it's so competitive. If you're a competitor, that's what you want. And that's why I do not take coaching in the ACC for granted. Like every second I get to be able to be a coach in here is it's an incredible, just very, very fortunate, and I don't take it for granted. But I just don't think anything's going to change over time as in terms of the talent being spread out and seeing different teams throughout the country just the way it is. And a lot of those teams are older. Dayton's older, San Diego State's older. You see a lot of these teams that are having good success that have older guys. Virginia last year was older. Texas Tech last year, they had the one kid who was a freshman, a lottery pick, but everyone else was seniors pretty much. So, you look at Auburn last year, and they're obviously Coach Pearl's done a great job this year again. But same thing last year and this year, they both had last year's team for Auburn. They had senior and junior guards. Same thing this year, and everything. If you look at those teams I mentioned, they got really good guard play. Everything comes down to guard play. You win games in college basketball with guard play. And if you look at San Diego State or Dayton, like the kid Crutcher, Jalen Crutcher from Dayton might not get as much publicity, but he's a really good guard. You win with guard play. And in college basketball, that's what it's about. And as I said, we are going to win games if Jose Alvarado, Bubba Parham, and Michael DeVoe, if all three play exceptionally well, we've got a pretty good chance of winning. If two of the three play pretty well, we have a chance to win, and if only one of the three play well or none of the three, you might as well you don't even need to write a story. You can just chalk up a loss, because we will not win the game if all three or just one play well. We have no chance. It's a guards game, and two of the three of I just mentioned have to be really, really good. Not good, but really good, because college basketball is about a guards game.
You've talked about taking the next step to get through the door. Is winning back-to-back ACC games one of those steps?
Well, just winning the next game, whether it's back-to-back. We just need to, and I've said this. We're going to stick to the process. We just got to get better. If we get better, the results will take care of themselves, Rod. And we have gotten better. Our team has really improved. We are way better than our record. We got part of it. Like I said, it's college basketball is about a guards game. We got just elbowed in the eye by not having Jose earlier in that year in that stretch, and that because it's a guards game. And I said, we had to stay healthy with our key guys, and he was the key one because he's the head of our snake, in a sense. And so we have improved. We've gotten better. We've got to get through that door. Yes, the winning matters, but for within us, if we just get better and keep moving on the right direction, on the right trajectory, things will take care of itself in that area.
With the defenses you play, how much do you know beforehand what you're going to use?
I don't know, Ken. I watch a lot of tape of the other team. I watch a lot of tape of our team. I still watch the practices within our own practices that we do. So, I watch a ton of film to make sure we're as prepared as possible. So I have an idea going in. But then sometimes, as I mentioned, I'm a feel guy too, based on subbing, and sometimes I just have a feel of way a play is working or a defense is working, and I'll stick with that at times. So it just kind of depends on that. But I don't go in just blindfolded. I would say. Then as the course of the game goes, things maybe you have your plan and then you have to go on a parachute, if that plan doesn't work. So it's kind of how the feel is the course of the game.
I imagine it's an advantage, disadvantage both for you and that you're splitting time and preparing both, but also the opponent has to prepare for your zone, which obviously unorthodox, and they're giving cuts, and they may not actually see it.
Correct.
So.
Well, you're right. I mean, I think our zone is very unique. It's probably the way our rules are set is probably we're the only team that runs what we run in the country. I mean, it's very unique. It's not a traditional zone, but we have different defenses. So we have different multiple defenses. So you're right. We are. If you ask probably most teams in the league, they would tell you that we are the hardest scout. Because of our changing of defenses and because of what we did. We changed a lot offensively. We're not as hard of a scout offensively right now because we totally in the middle of December changed our offense. We've been a little bit more dribble drive oriented, but I did that based on to fit our personnel. But prior to that, you had to prepare for all of our cutting in offense and we ran a lot of different things offensively, and that's why I really, one of the things which was very effective for us offensively the first few years, but I felt for our personnel this year, we had to have a course correction, change everything, and did a little more just kind of very basic stuff, and it's worked for us offensively. But we are a hard scout, and part of that is based on, especially because of the multiple defenses. And you are right that you only get a certain amount of time in practice. I mean, you can't, especially, you're not going to sit there for 3 hours to practice. You just can't, especially this time of the year. And there's only and you're right, and you have to pick and choose on what you're going to work on in the course of practice. And we have multiple defenses, so how much time do you spend on that? And then during the other course, when you're trying to make sure that you take care of the ball, work on your offense. So you've got to really be really time efficient in your practice planning.
What's beyond just being effective? Why you play more man? What's made your guys personnel more?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a particular reason. I think, I think it's just part of us teams not knowing what we're going to do, whether it's going into the game or coming out of a timeout. I mean, I've had some guys tell me, man, we worked for 4 months to prepare against your zone, and all of a sudden you come out, all off season we worked on this, and then you're a man-to-man the whole, or out of a timeout we have this man play draw up, and you come out and you're in this other zone I've never even seen before, so. And again, there's times where it hasn't worked, but for the majority of the time, it's been really good for us. It's kept us in games, and I mean, it's been our man. We've done a nice job recently in man-to-man, but you look at like in Virginia Tech, we played pretty much the whole game zone, and we were really good. Louisville played pretty much all man, and North Carolina State, we were all over the place. I mean, it's just kind of varies on how things has gone.
Any thoughts on ACC hierarchy indicating that be in favor of a mulligan for players transferring?
I'm all for it. Just let everyone transfer, no sit out, don't need to sit out. Everyone should be allowed to transfer and not have any penalty. And I know people say, well, it become like free agency. I don't see it like, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal if a person wants to transfer, to be honest with you. I mean, you go look at the numbers take athletics out of it, of a normal student that's not an athletic, how many times they change their majors? Or they go to a school their first year and then they end up leaving to somewhere else. I mean, that's just the norm of college. It happens all the time. You go to a school, maybe I want to go back closer to home, or I want to go somewhere else. So I don't think, I think people make a bigger deal than it is. I don't think they should have to sit out, let them play. That's just my viewpoint. Obviously, I don't have any juice in the thing, but I'm saying and I think that's the best thing for the student athlete. They don't need to sit, let them transfer. Heck, let them transfer 3 times if they want, and let them, and don't have to sit. I mean, and I've been saying it. It's roster management. It's going to come down to being roster management on making sure that you're that's how it's going to be. But I think that's the best thing for the student athlete. Now it's going to be up to the athletic directors and presidents to figure all that out. But I'm all for letting guys transfer without sitting.